your boy Corey here, aka Crasher, bringing you guys a new and exciting video, and ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves another Pokemon Sword and Shield video. There was actually quite the amount of details that had been revealed over the last day or so, and it is involving a variety of companies and people actually gaining access to Pokemon Sword and Shield and playing the first 90 minutes of it or so, and in those 90 minutes, they were able to make some pretty amazing discoveries when it came to the game itself. So we're gonna go over those details here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's begin with the video. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the things to talk about here comes from Eurogamer.net. We have ourselves this right here. Says, and I quote, "One of the most interesting additions is very strong looking Pokemon. If you remember Let's Go's small or large Pokemon with the red or blue auras, it's a similar idea. A Pokemon with a barely noticeable yellow glow will appear on very, very rare occasions in the wild. I only saw 2 of them and only in the wild area myself, and you'll get a bit of flavor text when the battle starts noting their apparent strength. Rather than size, though, these have much more useful aspects. Yellow glowing Mon have at least a couple of maximum IVs, the hidden gen-like stats that dictate how good one Machop is, say, compared to another, and they have egg moves rather than regular ones, too. It could potentially make looking for competitively viable Pokemon far easier and more stimulating than the usual breed or catch everything and see grind, and could hopefully couple well with a mysterious new system that lets you boost your long-term party Pokemon up to competitive standards too." Alright, so that is actually really useful information to take note of, ladies and gentlemen. So it looks like they're taking a little bit of inspiration from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee when it comes to auras surrounding Pokemon. Except rather than focusing on the size of the Pokemon, it's going to be focusing on the strength of the Pokemon via maximum IVs and egg moves. Now, what about Pokemon with hidden abilities? Are we going to have a similar sort of system where you have a Pokemon that is surrounded by, say, a different colored aura that is indicative of the fact that they're going to have access to that hidden ability? Or is there going to be a completely different sort of method when it comes to obtaining Pokemon with their hidden abilities? Okay, so up next we have ourselves a bit of information from Game Informer, such as the first town being called Wedgehurst, nearby forest is called Slumbering Weald, Yamper encountered in starting area, and Steam City equals Motostoke. I think that's how it's pronounced. Pretty interesting stuff right there. And here's something pretty interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Motostoke, the Steam City, is the location of the first gym leader. Milo is not the first, or at least that's what The Verge and Game Informer previews suggest. Okay, so that's actually really interesting as well. Turns out Milo isn't the first gym leader in Pokemon Sword and Shield. We have ourselves a gym leader in Motostoke that is going to be the first gym leader. Now, what I'm about to say, this right here is 100% a guess, so do keep that in mind, and let me know your thoughts as well. Now, we think about Motostoke, right? We think about the fact that's referred to as the Steam City. Now, when we think of Steam, we think of hot. And when we think of hot, we think of fire types. So what if the first gym leader was to use fire type Pokemon based on the fact that it is referred to as the Steam City? But if we take a look at things from a different angle here, when we think of Steam, we think of steampunk. And steampunk is generally based on machinery, and machinery is made up of different metals and steels and all that stuff. So what if, based on that, we have ourselves the first gym leader using Steel-type Pokemon? I know that's a bit of a stretch, it's a bit of a wild guess, but do let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. Okay, now this right here is from Metro, and Metro states that a rep from the Pokemon Company said that the wild area is about the size of 2 regions from Breath of the Wild. Oh, man. Okay, so if that is the case, man, there is going to be a lot to explore up in this. There's going to be a lot of areas to explore, and it's just going to be great. I absolutely cannot wait to see all of this go down. I guess, that right there is just going to make this a very, very big region to explore. And with all of that, the bigger the region, the more to explore, and the more you're going to get out of Pokemon Sword and Shield from the regard of exploring things. Now this right here is taken from ING, and we have ourselves pretty useful information, such as the fact that you can access your PC in the wild area freely, and the wild area has its own currency called watts, which is pretty interesting. You can use watts to exchange for the likes of camping gear, items, and ingredients, and it seems like that it's exclusive to the wild area. Now that's actually really, really solid and good to know that we can freely access our PC in the wild area. Kind of reminiscent, if you think about it, of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, because in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you could manage your storage for Pokemon items, etc. You would have access to pretty much everything without needing to go to a Pokemon Center, and it seems like they're bringing that over to Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I think is really, really awesome. And it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, that Pokemon Sword and Shield fuses their Nickname Raider, Move Deleter, and possibly Move Reminder into a single NPC found in Pokemon Centers. Now, Game Informer only mentioned nicknames and deletion, so do keep that in mind as well. But that's also going to be a really, really cool thing to have access to in every Pokemon Center by having a NPC that can pretty much grant you what it is that you need, whether you need to remember moves, whether you need to delete moves or change your nicknames and stuff like that. Now, it isn't 100% clear if that right there is going to have all of that I just mentioned, but if it is, that's going to be pretty damn cool. And also, just a quick note, these services can be used for any Pokemon that you have, rather than only the Pokemon in your party. And we also have ourselves more useful information, such as this. The Pokédex now has an integrated mini-map that shows what Pokemon are in the route you're in. Woohoo! That is nice. So that right there is going to be a pretty nifty tool if you are looking to fill up your Pokédex. So this right here is also really interesting. Also noted in this preview is that the ability to Dynamax your Pokemon comes in a wishing star that falls from the sky. And if we go ahead and we take that text and enlarge it, once I receive the letter of endorsement, a shiny object falls from the sky. This wishing star grants me access to the Dynamax ability, which causes your Pokemon to grow massive and powerful in battle. Now it's on to Monostoke, the first big city in my journey. Okay, so that right there is very, very interesting to figure out right there. I wonder where that wishing star came from, if it was just some sort of fluke, and you happen to be that lucky trainer to gain access to the wishing star and the Dynamax ring, or if there was some sort of bigger story behind it that you were somehow the chosen one to gain access to the Dynamax phenomenon. But what are your guys' thoughts about that? So we also have ourselves some more useful information, such as Eurogamer saying single damage dealing attack. Not sure if that's them being nostalgic or what, but the last two games, the starter Pokemon had both a normal move and an elemental move, so maybe they're going back to just tackle to start with. And we also have ourselves saw in the Nintendo Life preview that Hop first sends out Wooloo. When you beat that Pokemon, you gain a level and learn an attacking move of your Pokemon's type. Alright, so it looks like in your first battle with Hop, he has more than one Pokemon. It isn't just his starter, but it is also going to be Wooloo as well. Alright, so now we have ourselves some information in regards to the in-game customization options for the male player as an example, and we see if you're looking to style and profile, baby, you got plenty of options to do so. We have ourselves some clothing options for some tops, and we go ahead and scroll down. We have ourselves some pretty cool hairstyles, and we also have ourselves some more hairstyle information as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this right here is going to be massive for you shiny hunters out there. Attention all shiny hunters. Not only can you save immediately before choosing, you can see if it's shiny right away, and we are going to see it right here. We have ourselves Sobble, and you choose Sobble. Now, look at this, alright? You can see if whether or not it's going to be shiny in the nickname screen right here. You'll see it in just a second. Bam! Right there. Boom! Look at that, baby. Now that right there, man, it is a humongous improvement when it comes to shiny hunting for your starters, because if you remember back in the Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon days, you had to sit through like minutes of cutscene and all that stuff just to finally be able to pick your starter. But it seems like here they severely shortened that down to where you can actually save before you choose your starter, and then if you want to soft reset until you get your shiny, you really don't have to waste that much time in doing so. So I mean, that right there is going to be insanely special for all of you shiny hunters out there that want to shiny hunt for starter Pokemon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that right there is going to be a wrap up here for this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, then make sure you leave a like, you subscribe, and most importantly, guys, smash it up in the comments down below, because I love hearing from you guys. Always have, always will. That ain't never gonna change. And with that being said, have yourself a wonderful day or night, depending on your time zone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.